Hey, Miroslav. Se šaltam jou, deden webinar na drug, ama stignah na vreme. Let me see if it's Maria here.
Maria, people are coming, so we are on time. Don't worry.
Let me see. Ah, she's here. Hello. So you came straight to the panelist. That's great. Yes, lovely to see you. We are matching.
We are matching souls, so we're matching clothing.
So, welcome. Nice. We are exactly on time.
Yes.
So people are also coming, I see.
Yes.
We don't care about our hairs because, you know, like this period, nobody look at additional stuff.
Yeah. I'm trying. I had to wash my hair, you know, and trying to
You look perfect.
You too. Thank you.
Yes.
I just finished my NLP group, and it's always nice. How are you, Maria? So, how it's in Crete now? It's warm?
It is warm. It is spring, and it's rather safer than in Athens because we don't have a single victim in the hospitals right now.
Really?
In Crete, all of them are in north of the country and in Athens. So with airplanes not flying and the boats not traveling, we are rather safe.
Yes, that's great.
How many citizens are there?
It's about 600,000 people in Crete.
600,000.
Okay. Like in Skopje, we are also like 700,000. That's great. So, Miroslav,
we can start.
We can start.
Okay.
Yeah, you know, maybe audience because they are here like a minute ago or 2 minutes ago, but they saw our familiar talk, and we are like you know, as part of a family, and because in this period Christmas is the week before Orthodox Easter and after Catholic Easter, yeah. So we are in the family mood, and that's why we will begin this week with a perfect trainer, master NLP trainer, as all before. No masters, maybe without masters we will not give any webinar. So
only masters here.
Only masters, yes. And we are really glad to hear you, Marie Kanderaki. It's right?
Yes.
Yes.
And because with Greek surnames in last period, I try to practice them more.
Yeah, I know. I have seen you and I've observed you when you're trying to repeat one of the names of my students, Xanthipi, and it's rather difficult. He's a big Greek student.
Yes. Actually, he or she. She. Okay. This is the second topic that I should work on. Yes, but because the name was written in different in Greek alphabet, you know, and that's why it was really difficult to me. But okay, we are glad to hear you today. Marina, as always, knows you better and more depth insight will tell you. I'm glad to say that you are a family therapist, and it's good to see how we can practice joy, despite of any circumstances. So, Marina, the floor is yours. And Marie,
thank you, Miroslav.
Nice meeting you, Miroslav. Nice meeting you. Hi, Marina.
Hi, my dear Maria, colleague and friend. So,
an ex-roommate.
Ex-roommate, yes, in a student campus in Santa Cruz in California. Yes, it was wonderful, like going back in a student time. It was very nice.
It was beautiful, and needless to say that we had the most active and most vibrant apartment of all, with the best party.
We make the best parties, yes. So thank you very much for accepting this invitation. to be part of this wonderful mindful movement. And it's also very interesting that it's growing. There are a lot of people are writing nice comments about. So I'm also curious with your lecture, with your workshop, how far we can go again in our self-awareness to grow a little bit more. I'm sure we're gonna do that. And also after all these 21 days, what kind of movement we're gonna provoke afterwards. So I'm sure this is not the last time that we're gonna see each other like this. For sure the ideas will come. So glad that you are here, and I'm very curious about what we're gonna do together because we didn't discuss it.
Yes. It's gonna be a surprise, and that only shows your trust, and I'm humble and I'm very grateful for that. And before I start, I wanted to acknowledge your contribution and your inspiration and your hard work into putting this 21-day program. I know many of my students are following it on a daily basis. I try to follow most of the days when I don't have my own webinars or seminars. And I want to say that in a time where everybody is taking the opportunity to relax and to rest, you have put much more work in your schedule than usual. And I know that for sure. It's hard to talk to you on the phone because you're so busy preparing. And that, you know, with the thousands of people that they have stepped forward to volunteer in different countries, and in Greece, tens of thousands of people that they have come forward to volunteer in hospitals, in the public protection, in sewing masks. It gives me optimism for the future that we're going to overcome this difficulty, this huge social and financial and psychological difficulty. We're going to overcome it the same way that, you know, Marina, doctors say that a good and healthy immune system will overcome even the coronavirus. Yes. So we will, as a society, gestures like yours and gestures like the tens of people that instead of watching Netflix, they are here every night. It's a healthy piece of the society that's going to be strong enough to overcome this difficulty. Yes, so thank you for having me. And let's make a promise next time to be in person.
Yes, we have one plan, but we will see if we can fly in July.
Yes, we will fly in July.
Okay, so okay. Welcome.
I have prepared a few PowerPoint slides. Can I start sharing them?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So,
I'm more familiar with Zoom than me.
Yes, and we said that I'm a family therapist, and actually I'm existential family therapist, which means
yes,
we will talk about that, what that is. So the topic of today is experiencing meaningful joy despite the circumstances. We will talk about what existential psychotherapy is. We will talk a little bit about the pioneers of existential psychotherapy. We will do a demo of an exercise, and we will ask the audience to join us in doing the exercise. And then we will close up with follow-up and questions if we have any. So yes, that's my plan, and of course we are flexible and open to any other changes that might come along this journey.
I love the structure, so we know exactly. That's perfect.
I often start my lectures by saying a quote from a Greek Nobel Prize poet, George Seferis, who says that my words are children of my mentors. And my mentors for today's lecture are, of course, my NLP trainers, my existential psychotherapy teacher, Mr. Karagiannis, my NLP trainer, Mr. Pavlidis, Viktor Frankl, and Jordan Peterson. So we will be mentioning a lot of them. And I wanted to ask you, Marina, or some of the people from the audience, if during this period, have you ever asked yourself or mention to yourself that, oh, I'm feeling stressed, I experience anxiety, I don't know what to do during this period or with this situation. Why am I so afraid? I hate not having control over this situation. I'm feeling overwhelmed. Oh, life is so unpredictable. If we do, it is normal. As Viktor Frankl says, an abnormal reaction to an abnormal situation, it is normal.
Yeah.
So at this period, we are experiencing that we are just passengers in our life, and we are not the pilots as we used to be. So we will try today to reframe that, and starting by accepting that, and accept that barriers and discomfort often leads to change. You know, earlier this afternoon, I was invited to a Cretan TV station, and I told them that in late 70s, early 80s in Greece, we had 2 catastrophic earthquakes that they demolished 2 cities. And after that, the Greek government increased the standards for building apartment buildings. It had to be stronger with more iron. The standards were more strict in order for someone to have the permission to build a building. The same will happen here. You know, in order to build stronger personalities, relationships, families, or businesses, we have to examine and appreciate the difficulties now, because facing these difficulties and recognizing these difficulties and acknowledging these difficulties, it's as if we examine an X-ray and we say, oh, we have a fracture in this bone. We have to heal it so that we will be able to walk faster and stronger.
Beautiful metaphor with the X-ray, yes.
Thank you. And now we come to say a little bit what is existential psychotherapy. In existential psychotherapy, we focus on, our existence, our life is for what reason, for what purpose? We live for what?
Yes.
Is it for pleasure or is it for joy? And if there is meaning in joy, is there a meaning in suffering? So in existential psychotherapy, we try to focus on meaningful purpose, both for joy and for suffering. And as we all know, Friedrich Nietzsche used to say that he who has a why to live can bear almost anyhow. Existential psychotherapy, or else logotherapy, coming from the Greek word logos, which means purpose, outcome, and comes from Viktor Frankl, the psychiatrist who also is survival from the camps in Germany, Second World War. Yeah. And from his book, Meaning of Life, I would like to share with you 4 major quotes that reflect the existential psychotherapy. He is the founder of existential psychotherapy. The first one is what we have already said, that an abnormal reaction to an abnormal situation, it is normal behavior. Yes. So we should be easy on ourselves. If we feel stressed, if we feel anxiety or fear for the unknown, we are normal. Yeah. We are perfectly normal. Our children are normal. Our spouses are normal. We are normal feeling these feelings. What we have to deal with is the expression of these feelings, because I might feel fear or anxiety and start arguing or beating my wife, or I feel anxiety and go outside for a walk or taking a bath or start dancing. You know, yes. The expression is a characteristic of the emotional maturity of a person. When we are no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves. So during these last weeks, we have no control over the situation. we see that even the strongest governments and countries in the world, they have no control whatsoever over this. Even the Prime Minister of Great Britain was in hospital, just came out today. Even the biggest country in the world, the United States, is the leader in victims right now. So the only chance we have is to change, to reframe how we stand against this difficulty. Life is never made unbearable by circumstances, but only by lack of meaning and purpose. Viktor Frankl noticed during his 3.5 years in concentration camps that those who managed to survive, they were not the strongest, they were not the smartest of the rest, they were not even the healthiest. They were the people who had a reason to live for. We had a meaning. I'm going to survive because blah, blah. I'm going to survive because I want to see my loved ones. He actually wanted to survive in order to see again his family and his pregnant wife, and to rewrite the manuscripts of the books that the Nazis had destroyed, and to share with the rest of the world the truth inside the concentration camps. That is what kept him alive.
Yes.
And he said that if there is meaning in life at all, then there must be meaning in suffering as well. Which means that if we find meaning in life when we are healthy and happy and joyful, then there must be a meaning in suffering, in pain, and in sickness or in loss.
There are always pain and pleasure are always in the same time. They exist.
Or they come to complete or to complete each other. In any case, it comes to teach us a lesson.
Yes.
Okay. Another clinical psychologist who is majoring on existential psychotherapy is Jordan Peterson. He's professor of psychology, clinical psychology in the University of Toronto. There are plenty of videos on YouTube with him. And he says that human ability for inner transformation and reconstruction is the antidote to the unbearable human tragedies. Which means that in this difficult period that we live in, which is unbearable for some situations and some families, there are families that they lose more than one members. There are people that they bury their family members and they are not able to go to the funeral.
Yeah.
The only antidote to that is to transform that pain, that trauma, and put it into good use in the future. And as we say in existential psychotherapy, responsibility for my life lies on me, on others, and on circumstances. Whatever happens in me depends on these three factors. But in which part can we have an effect on? In which part do we control? It's the part of me.
Yeah.
I can control only my behavior. I cannot control others, and I cannot control the circumstances. And when we say that it's my responsibility, we don't mean the blame. We might not have caused the situation we're facing, but we have the responsibility to do something to change it, to alter it, to lead it on a different direction. And I will give you two examples. Here is Yannis Erdikalis. He's a Greek Paralympic athlete. He has lost both of his legs below the knees. Okay? The circumstances were beyond his control when he became handicapped. But his behavior, his attitude led him from becoming the handicapped person that is gonna get bonuses from the government and sit, you know, depressed somewhere, and he became an athlete, inspiring so many. And a global example is, of course, Nick Vujicic, that he was born without limbs. And of course, he overcame a lot of emotional difficulties and a lot of suffering. But for the last years, he's been an inspiration for millions of people. He's traveling around the world, teaching and inspiring and talking to people. And he's married and he has two children right now. Isn't that beautiful?
Amazing. Yeah.
So the circumstances were much more difficult for these people and for so many others than it is for me right now, that I am in my house for 5 weeks and I'm healthy and I can go out for a walk once a day and I can talk with you, and I can work in a job that I have chosen, and I'm blessed to love my job. Okay, so in comparison to what is happening to them, I can put on a different perspective my difficulty, okay? And get my focus from suffering, which is not suffering, to a difficulty, to a challenge, okay? In ancient Greece,
Before you go, I just have to see, sorry, my battery shows it's empty.
Just because you're working too much and you have so many webinars, and even your computer's battery is off. I'm wondering when your body's battery is going to get off.
So I'm in again. For any case.
Good.
Sorry, dear. Yes, please.
That's
continue
okay.
With the
Greek, flexibility, NLP, it's our motto.
Yes.
I was telling about the ancient Greek philosophy that in ancient Greek philosophy meant death memory, a memory that wasn't focusing on funerals, but it was a reminder of the beauty of life that one becomes aware of only by acknowledging the inevitable end, an end that becomes a purpose, which means that by acknowledging that one day I'm gonna die is exactly what makes this present moment so precious. By knowing that one day my parents will not be here with me is what makes so important for me to go on a Sunday afternoon and spend some time with them. Okay? By knowing that I will not always have the strength to take 27-hour trip as I took back from California this summer is what makes it so precious and such an opportunity that I did this summer. Okay? So that's what brings us to logotherapy and existential psychotherapy. And in practice, it means the following. Today, to know who am I, what are my limitations, and what are my gifts, and what are my potentials. And then imagine that if the average expectancy life is 85 years old, let's imagine, let's act as if I'm already 85. Who I want to be then? Who would I want to be? What characteristics would I want to have then in order my path of life until 85 to be worth it? What do I want to have completed so that when I'm 85, I will feel content and fulfilled and happy and peaceful? And that direction and that path is not a straight line. It's rather like an upright circle that every time we complete one circle, a higher one, more difficult one has already started, just like the levels on a video game. And I was thinking today that, you know, when we were back in high school, we thought that a high school flirt or the introduction exams for university were the most difficult thing in life, you know? And then we were like in our 30s, we thought that our finding a job was the most difficult thing in life. And I was thinking, a friend of mine, that at the age of 45, she had to deal with a divorce that led to a 2-year fight in the court. She was fired from her job and she had to start her own office from scratch in a period that in Greece we were undergoing financial crisis. Her mother been diagnosed with cancer.
Oh my God. Yeah.
So that in 45, you know, in comparison with what she had to deal with at the age of 25, you know, puts a different perspective on the level of difficulty that is expected from us if we are normal and we are growing, you know, if we're growing emotionally and not just by age. And because, you know, Marina, there are some spectacular 50-year-old teenagers.
Yes, definitely.
That gives us a lot of income as psychotherapists, okay?
Yeah, yes.
So in this path, many tools and resources can come and help. One of them could be a sustainable and healthy diet, or exercising, or others find meaning in volunteering, or in religion, or in arts, or in NLP, okay?
Yes.
And many, many, many more that are resources to help us towards that path. And now I would like to ask our audience, and you can join with the exercise if you like, to get a piece of paper and a pen or a pencil. And in your piece of paper, draw this circle with 6 pizza slices.
Okay.
And I would like to invite everyone to imagine that we are healthy to grow old until the age of 85. What will you look like? What will you feel like? What will you think about? And how would you like yourself to be and feel? And what are the quality characteristics your personality or your life will have, so that your life until then will have been meaningful? So let's write around these 6 pizza slices your own characteristics of that time. Like, for instance, I have here that I would like to have loved ones around me. And I don't say I would like to have my husband, because I don't know for sure if I have a husband, or if he's going to be alive by then, or if my children will live next to me, or they will live in Germany. But I have the choice to have loved ones with me. I would like to have fulfillment in life, or to have a good enough income so that if I want to invite people for dinner, I can afford that, or if I want to go to the doctor, I can afford that. And have a relatively good health so that I can walk around by myself and I can support myself and not be, you know, quadriplegic.
This is for the age of 85, eh?
Yes, 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 for the age of 85.
Yes.
Once we have written these 6 quality characteristics of the age of 85, then we're putting the grades. In the center, we will put 0, which means nothing, minimum. And at the peripheral, we put 10, which means the maximum, the optimum health, the optimum spirituality, the best income, the best number of loved ones around me, and with the best quality of relationships with me. And according to that, let's put a mark relatively according to what grade we want to grade our present contribution towards this characteristic, meaning that today that I'm young, I might be healthy, but if I'm not exercising, I'm a smoker, and not have a good diet, the prediction is not very good. So I will not put a 10 to myself. Okay?
Yes, yes.
If today I'm a student and I'm graduating from the university and I'm very persistent, then I might not have a good income right now, but my prediction is good enough. So here we evaluate what we're doing today to support this and what the prediction could be in accordance to our efforts today. Okay? And put a mark. Let's put a mark around each characteristic. And since I will not ask to see your grades, you can be very brave and very honest.
This is for ourselves, so
yes, this is for ourselves, for everybody.
We have to be honest with ourselves.
Yes, so please be honest. We will give 1 minute to everybody to grade each of these 6 characteristics.
So from the situation now to the future.
Yes.
So actually the stars are where I am now? Or
yes. Where I am now. Where I am now.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, I have a lot to do, I think, till 85. According to the stars where I am now.
Okay. And once you have marked and graded these characteristics, I would like to ask you to join them.
Okay.
Connect them.
Yeah.
And then look at the shape, at the new shape that just has been formed. And as you look at that shape, new shape that has been formed, I would like to tell you this story. Imagine that life is a journey, Marina. And as a vehicle to travel your journey, you have been given a bicycle. And the shape you just made is the shape of the wheels of your bicycle. How will you imagine your journey to be like? Smooth or bumpy?
When I look to mine?
Yes.
Yes. I think I have to bike a lot.
Yes, because for instance, it's like the one here in my screen, and it's bumpy, you know, it takes a lot of effort, a lot of strength, a lot of exhaustion to make one round, each circle to make one round. So I put effort, I become exhausted, and I don't get far away. So I get easily disappointed. And the solution is, first of all, to make it even, to make it smooth, to make each characteristic at the same grade. And because we don't want to decrease the high ones, the solution is to increase the low ones. So, for instance, each one of you find 1 or 2 of the lowest grades you have marked on your chart. Just, see them. And then if, for instance, on my design, on my graph, one of them with the lowest grade is health, then we get into action today, not on Monday, not next month, not next year. Today, what can I do under these difficult situations and under these difficult circumstances to improve my health? For instance, and this is true, I have chosen under these difficult situations to walk at least 60 minutes every day. to abandon sugar, no sugar in my diet.
Yes.
And to have 7 hours of sleep. If my other characteristic with small grade, for instance, is my loved ones, which means either I don't have as many as I would like to, or I don't spend as much quality time as I would love to. What can I do today to improve that characteristic? Okay, I have chosen, and this is also true, to have one friend phone call.
Yes, I know.
And you are at the end of the line on many of them. To have group video calls and reunions, lots of reunions. And you know that you also have participated in some of them. And to host webinars with either my students or invited guest speakers, or it could be, you know, or group video calls with family members, okay? And that way, I get the personal connection. I might not be able to hug anyone, but at least I'm able to interact, to see, to give and receive communication. So now I would like to ask you and the audience to put one of your lowest characteristics and name, identify 3 solutions, 3 things you can do to improve that characteristic today. As I said, not next Monday, not next month, not this summer, today. No more excuses. No more blame on the circumstances or on the others. You know, Marina, I mentioned earlier that my words are children of my mentors, but you know, mentors are not just our teachers. Mentors could be someone that we have never met. One of these persons for me is this lady. She's Alice Sommer. She died in 2014 at the age of 101.
Wow.
And when she's from Czech Republic, from Prague, and when she was 93, a book was written about her with the title A Garden of Eden in Health, describing her life, also in concentration camps, with the difference that she was in the concentration camp with her 5-year-old son. They both survived because she was a pianist player, and the Nazis wanted her to play the piano every night to entertain them.
I think that it's a movie.
There must be a movie. Anthony Robbins has done a documentary with her.
Yes.
She's amazing.
Yes.
You can find plenty of videos. She was practicing the piano until the age of 99. She was living until the age of 99 by herself.
Wow, amazing.
And when Anthony Robbins, you can find her interview with Anthony Robbins on YouTube. And when he asked her, what's the difference that makes the difference? And you manage that because, you know, she was a twin sister. She was a twin baby with her sister. Yeah. And her sister died at the age of 73. And she also survived cancer. And she said, my sister was always complaining and whining and crying. You know, I have always paid attention to the positive, to what is good in life. And Anthony Robbins asked her, wasn't your son at the age of 5 and that he got out of the concentration camp when he was 8 or 9? Wasn't he complaining in concentration camp? And Alice said, well, he was asking me, Mommy, why am I hungry all the time? Why can't we have candy? Why can't we go back home? And he was asking, but as long as he could see me on the floor, playing and laughing and hugging with him, he was okay.
Yes.
The same shows today. As my existential psychotherapist trainer, Mr. Karayani, says that today children will not be affected by the coronavirus crisis or by the macroeconomic effects of this. They will be affected of the microclimate that is being created in each and every family. How a child is observing his parents to react to this. Are they be frightened or stressed or angry or fighting with each other? Or are they creative and funny and relaxed and serious and loving each other? That will give them the pattern how they're going to deal with the difficulties for the rest of their lives. So I invite each and every one of us, especially those who are in the house isolated with their children, to think that these days, memories of a lifetime are shaped in the lives of their children.
Yes.
Their children will be 30 and 40 and 50 years old, and they will remember back these days. How do we want our children to remember us by?
So important.
So we now have the chance to become mentors.
Yes.
And inspire others. This is a teacher, a psychology teacher in Harvard, and has extended a long year of research showing that 90% of our long-term happiness is predicted not by the external world, but by the way our brain processes the world.
Mm-hmm.
How we, as we call, Marina, in NLP, the map is not the territory.
Yes.
It's the perception of the reality that declares how we're going to react. So existential joy despite the circumstances. You know, the Nobel Prize of Medicine in 2000 was won by Dr. Eric Kandel, who said that humans are able to change their personality and their way of behaving. He showed the epigenetics, meaning that we are not just the inherited genes that we are born with. We have the destiny of our lives in our hands if we want to.
Yes. And
also, in the book Biology of Psychotherapy, it says that humans have the ability to retrain their brain via positive life experiences and thinking, and by doing so, they alter their brain functions. And we can see that in people that they are sick, or they have suffered a stroke, or a surgery, or brain tumor, but a certain part of the brain has been destroyed, that certain activities like singing, like playing the music, can change that, can redirect the attention and the neural connection of the brain on a different path, and replace that damaged area of the brain.
So powerful.
Exactly.
Yes.
Regenerate the brain.
Yes. Yeah.
2 decades of research have shown that love and respect versus stress and anger can alter the human DNA. That's the epigenetics. We are born with the DNA, but we can influence that. And the fMRI and the MRI can show that change in a brain scan. And I would like to finish my last slide with a quote from the ancient Greek medical doctor Epocrates, who said that humans should try, doctors, but also humans should try to benefit others, or at least don't harm them. Do good, if not possible, do good, then avoid doing to harm others. And in accordance to that, us in NLP in Crete, we have adopted the following mission. We live and we teach and we gather and we interact in our NLP trainings under the following mission, which is that if there is heaven, if truly there is heaven, one day we will all be there, as God loves us all.
Yes.
But if by choosing how to relate with love and others, that's a spelling mistake. If we choose how to relate in life with others, we get to experience more love and joy today, then we get to have a taste of paradise today and become the reason why others will have a taste of paradise today.
Yes.
By relating to others in the sense of joy and in the sense of love, we get to experience a slice of paradise today without having to get the coronavirus.
And actually to stay open for the differences that we all have.
Exactly.
And to stay curious.
Exactly. So I will undo the share screen and...
Beautiful, Maria. It was very, very inspiring. Miroslav is also back. I think, yes, I did. I will start biking on a different path from today. But it's interesting that the three things, that the action we're gonna start. We really need time to think about that, how I'm going to do it. But it's very, very interesting. And what I also like was also the epigenetics. I experienced that also in my life because I broke my arm. I fell down from the bike, but I was so quick back in normal again because I shift in my head something, and even the doctor was amazed that my arm, and I have operation and everything, that gets so quickly healed. So we have so much power, more power, and we don't use it, unfortunately. So this was very inspiring.
I remember that...
Emanuela is with us.
Hi, Emanuela.
Sorry.
Doesn't matter.
Oh, so happy to see you. Hi.
Sorry for my late, but I was in another.
That's okay. Happy to see you. Hi, Manuela.
Yeah.
I was about to say that I have heard from John Grinder that his father had suffered a stroke, and after the stroke, he wasn't able to talk. And John Grinder, knowing the NLP and the epigenetics, he started helping him sing, because, you know, singing and talking are on different areas of the brain. And his father, even days after the stroke, still in the hospital, started mumbling the songs bit by bit. Eventually, he learned how to talk again. The certain part of the talking area still was ruined. Mm-hmm. They retrained, they reprogrammed another part of the brain to do that. Amazing. They expanded the function of the singing part of the brain to make the talk, to do the talking.
Everything is possible.
That's a miracle. That's a miracle.
Yes. Okay, Miroslav, do we have questions? We have, I see nice comments.
Very nice. Very nice. Thank you, Maria, because all of the people are really glad of this presentation, because it's important that they said that they find it really useful and practical. So they can connect directly with the examples and all these presentations. Thank you. Really, really great. From my perspective as well, just want to share 3-4 questions. So in 10 minutes.
Yes.
Aki, first question. You mentioned growing emotionally. How we do and know that?
Okay. I will again share what our Greek philosopher Aristotle used to describe as emotional growth on 4 steps. The first one is to be conscious of my emotions, to be able to identify my emotions and be aware of them. Second, to be able to control them. Like right now, I'm not hungry, I'm anxious, I'm stressed. So I am able to control my stress and not open my refrigerator and start eating whatever is inside, okay? If I'm able to do that, then I'm training myself to step up to the second level of emotional growth. The third one is to be able to recognize and acknowledge and identify the emotions of others and be able to handle them, not control them, to handle them, to perceive them correctly. For instance, if I'm giving a lecture and I see someone doing, it's my emotional growth is, okay, this person must be very tired. Perhaps he was sick last night, or perhaps he had a crying baby, or perhaps he was working late. That is a sign of my emotional growth. But if I say, oh, he doesn't respect me, that's completely wrong. It is rude. How can I continue my lecture when I have rude people in the audience? That is not a sign of emotional growth of mine. So life gives us practical excuses to practice emotional growth and emotional maturity every day.
Yes.
Great answer. Thank you. We have another question by Daniel. How to do train or coach the client to achieve their aims?
Well, first of all, we have to help them to identify the aims. Because many people, I'm amazed, sometimes I ask in a seminar, if everything was possible, you know, especially the previous 10 years in Greece that we were undergoing financial crisis, I remember myself walking in a seminar of unemployed people and, you know, seminars that they were being financed by the Greek government. And I remember they were all college graduates. And I asked them, if everything was possible, what would you like to do? What job would you like to do right now? And there was this young 25-year-old architect. And he said, oh, any job. At this moment, I will do anything. And I say, you don't even dare to dream. How is it possible to achieve what you like? And I said, if someone was to hire you as a secretary in a funeral home, will you go? He said, no, I wouldn't go there. I said, okay, we have one out. Let's start limiting your dreams. First, we have to dream. And then to see how we're going, what measures, what steps are required to get there. You know, like this spiral. If I want to become a doctor, or, you know, I'm one of these people that initially I studied business administration, majoring with a master's degree in the United States. And at the age of 27, I discovered that I will never be a good economist or a good manager because I didn't like economics. It was a bad choice to begin with. So then I decided, okay, I like psychology. This is my life's dream. This is what I want to do. Okay, now what steps do I have to take? I have to go to the university again. In order to do so, I have to find a job. In order to do, you know, NLP, I have to go this, and I have to have this amount of money. It took me 10 years to get there. But so to answer to Daniel, first we have to help them to have the bravery, to have the courage to identify and acknowledge the dreams. And then the pragmatics, as the creativity strategy of Walt Disney says, is then is the dreamer, then is the pragmatist. What are the requirements to get the dream? And then of course is the critic, the protector, to have the plan B in order to achieve that dream.
Great answer. I hope Daniel, and I'm sure that he will be satisfied. He will reply for sure. Okay, we have one more question from Anita Koczowska. She asked, what actions to take when we feel down these days because the days and the nights are long? What actions to, so this is the question.
Okay.
Meanwhile, they talk a lot with Xantipi, so
some people will ask the questions privately. She's brilliant. She's amazing. All my students are. They inspire me to become a better trainer because they are so amazing. So, first of all, as I said in the beginning of my talk tonight, an abnormal reaction to an abnormal situation, it is normal. So if we're feeling down, if we are feeling that we want to spend some time in the couch, covered with a blanket and not moving, that is normal. If we want to not go outside today, that is normal. But then we have to ask, okay, I'm giving myself permission to feel that. It is okay. I haven't done anything wrong, okay? But is it ecological? How many days do I want to spend on the sofa? What would I like now to help me? You know, even when we're sick and we have like stomach problems, if we get the mindfulness to ask our body, what would I desire to eat now? Our body will give us the answer. You know, sometimes I go in and say, I don't do it. I don't succeed in that a lot, but sometimes I do succeed and I say, what my stomach would like to eat now? And I say, souvlaki, no. Souvlaki will make me sick. Dessert, no. Right now I would like fruit, or I would like a soup. If we are honest, we know what would make us happier or more creative or more productive or more energetic. One could be a friend, another one could be to read a book or to dance or to sing or to go for a walk. There isn't one single solution that will fit all.
Great. Meanwhile, they are really thankful for all the suggestions. It's great that our audience, among them, they became more familiar these days and they exchange suggestions. That's a great sign that we inspire them. Of course, the most inspiration has come directly from Maria. Thank you a lot. And we will finish here because we are already 1 hour out of our webinar. So 15 days, this is 15 days in the row. So we have 6 more. Okay. Yes.
Time is flying.
Thanks for Marina.
When will be your last one? On Sunday?
The 19th of April. I don't know which day.
That's on Sunday. Marina, that's on Greek Easter.
Yeah, we also celebrate the same, the Orthodox, yes. So I want to thank you, Maria, and I want to finish with something you provoked in me. You said that in Greece there were 2 big earthquakes, yes, when after that also change came. Also in Skopje we had in 1963 a very big earthquake. Of course, a lot of people died then and everything was destroyed. But at that moment, my parents met and the love started. And because of the earthquake, I exist.
Oh, isn't that nice? Exactly. Rebirth and reconstruction out of the catastrophe. Yes.
So from this corona, we don't know. Maybe new love will be born. You don't know. Everything is possible. So thank you so much for this inspirational.
Thank you for your invitation. Thank you, Miroslav. Nice to see you, Emanuela. Let's meet again soon, okay? Stay safe. And thank you, our audience. They are great for being here every night, okay? Let's meet under safer and better situations too, so that we can have a drink afterwards, you know, all together.
We're gonna have a party, I think, the last day of our mindful movement.
Okay.
A Zoom party. So I invite everybody, and tomorrow we have guests from our country, Ivan Aknes and Maya Aceski. I don't know what they are going to talk about, but it's going to be for sure something interesting. So I invite everybody. You are all welcome. Thank you, everybody, that you are joining us every night and makes this really happen, because without the audience, we also couldn't continue with this mindful movement. Thank you, Maria. Have a nice Easter party next weekend. Thank you, Emanuela, that you show up, and Miroslav, and see you all. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Have a nice evening.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. Bye.